Hey guys, Micah here, and I just wanted to let you know some of the happenings of the last couple of months of ministry out here in the West Valley area of Spokane. And so I'm just going to get right to it. I just got back pretty recently from Nicaragua, which was a Young Life service and cultural experience trip that I took with a bunch of other Whitworth students who are involved with Young Life and even a couple from Idaho. So that was an amazing trip, and we met amazing people, and we did a variety of service things, of cultural experiences, and it was just really cool. But one story that kind of sums up the trip, I would say, is of a boy named Midardo, who Midardo is 17, and he just began actually as a leader for Young Life for some of the younger kids. And he told us his story, and it's just incredibly moving, along with all the other stories we heard from their leaders. But Midardo has had a tough go with his parents, and they're divorced, they're split, and part of that was due to his dad's alcoholism. And so he was telling us about how his dad would spend money on alcohol and would just forego basic needs, even like food or just the things that they need to go their day to day life, clothes. But he would spend money on alcohol, and so for years and years, this is how Midardo's life was. It's just all he knew, and so then a couple of years ago, he met a Young Life leader, and he got invited to go to camp, and that's where he met Jesus, truly and authentically, and it changed the way that he viewed his life. And from then on, he stayed involved with Young Life and with his leader. And he then, like I said, recently has kind of become a leader to the younger kids. And actually, his dad is now 2 months, no, 2 years, 2 years sober. And so it's just a beautiful story of how Christ and through Young Life is working not only in this kid's life, but in a whole family's life. And there are so many stories like that, and so many people we didn't even meet with stories like that. And so it was just awesome and inspiring and invigorating to see the way that Jesus really changes lives and be reminded of that, and to come back with that mindset here. And so now I'm in the West Valley area in Millwood, Washington, as the locals call it, for the summer, doing ministry. And a cool story from right at the beginning of my time back was I met up with this guy named Blake, who a year ago he asked me if I would baptize him. And then he went off the grid, didn't respond to any of my calls, texts, anything. And because he had a girlfriend, and then he ended up following her to Florida for like 10 months or something. And that didn't exactly work out as he thought, and so he came back, and now he's back. And so I saw him a couple weeks ago at a track meet, and was just excited to see him, and said, dude, we need to catch up. And so a few days ago, a few days ago, we had dinner, and it was a great conversation just about where he's been, what the last year has taught him, and who he wants God to be in his life, and how he had to rely on God when he was in Florida, kind of all by himself. And he just has a lot of cool things going on, and he still wants to be baptized. And actually, all this has led to a small group starting between him and two other recent grads and one high school junior. And they're all at a place where they are not searching. I think they know they want to follow Jesus, but they're still searching for how and for what that looks like in their life. And so I think it's a perfect chance for me to sort of just facilitate them figuring that out and reading through Scripture. We're reading through the book of Mark, and so we just started that just recently, a couple days ago, and here we go. It's going to be awesome. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to more conversations with Blake about his faith. And so for the rest of the summer, a lot of what I'm doing is just planning and preparing and and then spending time with kids. We have a middle school mission week coming up here in 2 weeks that we're still finalizing kind of preparations for. We have a trip to Mexico to build houses and be together for a week down there. And so we're still kind of preparing for that as well. And then we just have kind of weekly activities that we're doing. Since we have the blessing of having 3 of us here full time for the summer, we're doing weekly Bible studies for the high schoolers and hanging out and going hiking with them and things like that. And we're doing weekly hangout times for the middle schoolers, and we're going swimming with both high schoolers and middle schoolers, and we get to go to Silverwood, which is a theme park near here. And so we just get to do a lot of cool things. But I think what I'm most looking forward to is the unplanned times with the boys that I know the best. And so even for this weekend, I'm hoping to have some time to hang out with guys like Kyle and Tyler and Ethan and Spencer, like you maybe heard me talk about or write about before. And so I think the biggest prayer that I have is that I pray every day is that Jesus change these boys' lives, change their hearts, like to actually enter in and alter their way of thinking and being and just explode into their life. And that's what I pray, and that's what I hope for so many of these kids, and especially some of these boys that I'm the closest with. So just pray for me as I go through this summer, that I would have endurance, that Lord would give me energy, and He would keep breaking my heart in the name of the gospel every morning when I wake up. And that for these kids, that they would actually experience the love of Jesus, that they would actually grasp to some extent how much He loves them, and that it would wreck them. But yeah, it's kind of what I have. There's so many more stories, but we don't have time for all of them. So thank you so much for all that you do for me, and I truly could not do it without you, and I hope you understand that. So bye, everyone.